What's been interesting since Trump became president is the number of Republicans who are willing to go out there and say, I disagree with the president on this. The president is wrong about this. Jeff Flake, John McCain, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, all of those people, hell, Lindsey Graham at one point, Marco Rubio the other day. They're all willing to come out there and say, I disagree with the president on issue X, Y, or Z, or he took a wrong approach to his summit with Putin. Unfortunately, none of these Republicans, aside from maybe giving a short interview talking about how bad the president did, are actually willing to stand up for him. Lindsey Graham, in the early days of this administration, happened to be one of the biggest anti-Trump voices in the U.S. Senate. And then he started going golfing with the president, and suddenly his tune changed. I mean, it was almost overnight. The guy left the golf course and then started talking about how great Donald Trump was. But then a few months went by, no more golf invites. So he started going after him a little bit more. Same thing with Jeff Flake, right? Jeff Flake, super loud, anti-Trump guy, and yet 16 different times at least that Jeff Flake has said, I disagree with the president on this and we cannot stand for it. He's ended up either backing down or voting for the specific thing or person that he said was so awful. There is no real never Trump Republican in Washington, D.C. They don't actually exist. What does exist is a cabal of Republicans who understand that some of them have to face re-election. Some of them are ending their careers and don't want to be looked upon negatively by the American public. Either way, they're trying to do two things at once. And one is to give this public face of a person who's not going to take it, a person who doesn't stand for what Trump stands for. But then we have the very private face. Because after all, let's be perfectly honest here. Most Americans don't go and check the voting records. You might see it occasionally come up in a campaign ad, so-and-so voted for this. Most of it is shrouded in, language that paints it one way when in fact it's another. So nobody goes back and checks the voting records, or very few people do. Not enough people do. That gives these never Trump Republicans the clearance to say one thing publicly and then do a different thing privately. And that is what we're seeing today. And it's not just they won't protect Mueller. It's not just that they voted down the congressional legislation that would have prevented Donald Trump from starting this trade war. It's not just that they won't let that interpreter from that Putin meeting last week come and testify before Congress. It's all of it. These Republicans today have been given so many opportunities to be heroes. I mean, that's what they don't even understand. These guys could have been the ones to save the day. They could have been the ones calling for that interpreter from the Putin meeting to come to Congress. They could have been the ones to save the jobs that are being lost now from the trade wars had they acted. But they don't, and it's because they're afraid. They've seen what's happened to Jeff Flake through Donald Trump's Twitter attacks. They've seen what's happened to John McCain through the same Twitter attacks. And all that is words. Neither of those men have actually been punished in any way by Donald Trump because he can't actually do it. He just goes on Twitter, makes fun of them. People in his administration make fun of them, and that's the end of it. But even the threat of just being made fun of by the president on Twitter is enough to make these Republicans completely complicit with everything that this man has done. The only way to solve this problem is to vote them out. They're not going to come around. They're not going to suddenly realize, oh, wait, yeah, I forgot to do everything that I said I was going to do against you. It'll never happen. None of these Republicans are ever going to be the heroes that we need them to be, even though they've had plenty of opportunity to do it. If they wanted to, they could have done it months ago, but every single one of them failed to do it. I'm Farron Cousins, and for David Pakman today, we'll be right back.
Today's program is made possible in part by BetterHelp.com/Pakman. This is something I really believe in. BetterHelp gives you access to fully licensed and experienced psychologists and therapists, through your phone or computer. I have been talking for years about the problem around people not seeking help because of the stigma around mental health services, because of the cost of mental health services. And all you have to do with BetterHelp is go to betterhelp.com/Pakman, answer some basic questions. You'll be matched with a therapist that will be right for you. You can change therapists if you don't think that it's a good fit. It's less expensive than seeing someone in person. You will still get the professional help, and it is unlimited. You can talk to a therapist every day from home or wherever you are. Go to betterhelp.com/Pakman. It is so easy to sign up and get started. We've put a link in the description if you're watching on YouTube, betterhelp.com/PAKMAN. If you've been wanting to talk to somebody, but for whatever reason haven't, please go to betterhelp.com/PAKMAN.